Streaming apps like Netflix, Disney Plus, and Prime Video have fundamentally changed the way we watch movies and TV shows. So much so that it's forecasted that video streaming will bring in a projected revenue of $108 billion dollars in 2024, and that growth appears only to be heading higher and higher. With this shift, many Canadians are cutting their cable subscriptions and solely relying on streaming as their source of entertainment. Joining us now to unpack the future of streaming is Rick Wood, Vice President of Client and Advisor Success at Caldwell Securities Limited. Rick, thank you very much for being back with us on Forum Daily.
Hi, David. Thank you for having me back.
So, cord cutting has continued to gain momentum. Why do you think streaming has become so popular?
Well, I think originally it was based on cost savings. I think people were looking at their cable bills, and every year they were going up, and there was 250 channels and nothing to watch, and it started to get to a point where it started to feel very expensive, and they
Mhm.
looked for new options. And streaming was starting to come into play. Netflix for about $7.99, you could get anything you wanted when you wanted it without ads, and so the convenience was a big factor. And I think after that, it started to be the portability, where you could take it and not only on your televisions, but it was on your phones and you could go wherever you wanted. And I think that's really, the second leg of why it's continued to do so well is the fact that now people are streaming everything, wherever they are on their phones, and it's available at your fingertips.
And you made a very interesting point there without ads. We're now starting to see streamers like Netflix, Disney Plus, and Prime moving into ad supported programming. Is that the future of streaming?
Well, it's certainly very cable like. And I think, initially when Netflix was coming out, they were looking for subscribers, and we were measuring their profitability by how many subscribers they were able to add and grow. And I
Yeah.
think at some point you're going to run out of human beings to add as subscribers. So you've got to find a new way to generate profit. So this is why we're bringing in ad supported, lower cost. So instead of the free platform, you were able to choose and elect ones that had an ad, and this allows them to generate greater profit, but it also allows them to profit due to the fact that they're going to now send ads that are based on what your viewing habits are, and so those become even more profitable. And then the other part of it is you get so alienated with the fact that you've added all these ads and things like that, and you say, enough, I just want it, and I'm willing to pay whatever I can pay so I don't have the ads. So there's a premium to not have the ads for the profitability.
Yeah, and Netflix has also, you mentioned cable like. Netflix recently announced a $5 billion deal for exclusive rights to air World Wrestling Entertainment, WWE, shows and specials. This includes WrestleMania. This used to be the domain of cable TV. Do you think that this is a smart strategy on the part of Netflix or any other streamers who are getting into live sports?
I think it's a great strategy. I think, one of the reasons why a lot of people, old guys like me, may have been keeping cable is because they wanted access to live sports and they couldn't necessarily get it through the streaming. We saw Amazon Prime started with NFL Thursday night games, and now you're starting to see Netflix going into, not my demographic, but certainly a big demographic in the United States of people
Yeah.
that enjoy wrestling. And so I think content really is king. And this is the ability for them to now go and access an area that was in cable and now bring it into the streaming. And if you want live sports, you're going to pay.
Yeah, yeah, and so with streaming services now, obviously we've talked about that growth. They're commanding a greater share of viewers than cable. Do you think the end is near for cable companies?
I don't know if it's near, but I think it's certainly coming. As somebody that has probably got about 250 CDs at home and not a player to play it anymore, at some point it will be coming.
Yeah,
But I think we got to be very careful what we're asking for, because it's interesting because we gave up cable, we said it was too expensive, but now when you start to look at well, I got to pay for my internet. I can't get this show on Disney, so I need to get it on HBO, and I
yep.
want this. When you start to add all those things together, that monthly fee really adds up. And then when you add live sports onto that, and like NFL Sunday Ticket, which is probably $120 on top, we're probably 3 times more expensive than the cable that we just gave up. So, you're going to need to work with a financial planner just to see if you can afford all of these extra streamings that you're putting on.
Rick, thank you very much for your time today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, David. My pleasure.